What up, everyone? Long time no see, as always. So it seems like this is kind of what I'm doing now, just popping in once a month until I get some more time. But you know, the good news is I started the whole social media thing, and that's been working out pretty well. And you know, it's not my first choice of ways to do things, but it just seems like a good option just because I have no other option. So it just seems like better than nothing. So that's all been working out pretty well. I like kind of doing it that way. So if you haven't checked them out, go follow me on Instagram or something like that, or any form of social media to see posts that I'm doing. I haven't done a lot yet. I've only done a few here and there, and honestly, I only have like 10 followers on Instagram. But I'm hoping that it'll pick up more and more, and I'm still getting used to it. I'm still getting used to the fact that I need to post. I'm still trying to remember, so I'm still getting used to it, but I think that's a good way to do it, and it seems like a good outlet until I can find a way to do more videos. Puppy. So yeah, so in the meantime, we are back for another monthly review. And the good news is we have a lot of new boxes this month. I told you last time that I signed up for a bunch of new stuff, and even though a lot of them are quarterly, a lot of them still, all the quarterly boxes still showed up this month. They all showed up at the same time, which is really cool. So we might not see a lot of these again for a while, but at least we have them all now, so we got a first look at all of them. So I'll go over those. And then we have the classic ones here too. So a few things I want to go over real quick. You know, something I get asked a lot that I haven't really been able to do on the channel or anywhere else is about gaming videos. That's one of the questions I get asked the most, like, do I play games? Do I do any gaming videos or anything like that? Excuse me. And the question is, yeah, I actually am a pretty big gamer. I do a lot of competitive gaming and stuff like that. So if anyone is interested, since I get asked this all the time, I thought I'd just throw this out there right away. If anyone is interested, I did some videos way back when of me and my friends just playing some different games. And we still do them, we still record them, but I've kind of passed them off to my brother just because I don't have time for it, and I don't really have room for it on the channel or anything like that. So if you are interested in that at all, I'll post a link to his channel. He just started one. So if you want to see some gaming videos, some competitive stuff, feel free to check us out. We play Smash, there's some Marvel vs. Capcom on there, and I'll definitely be doing like Dragon Ball when it comes out. My brother plays a bunch of stuff. So those of you who are interested, check out the link in the description. Go on there, like, subscribe, show that channel some love. So he's been working pretty hard on it, so I want to make sure some people know about that. So I just want to put that out there because, like I said, I constantly get asked that same question. So I just want everyone to know that it's me on there through my brother's channel, and if you want to see anything there, you can always let me know, and we'll go from there. Anyway, that was just one thing I wanted to go over. Other than that, thank you all for tuning in and letting me know your opinions about the new thoughts on what I'm going to do on the channel. Haven't really got around to implementing any of them, but thank you all for weighing in. In the meantime, we have our monthly review, and essentially what this channel and this video is about helping you find the best monthly subscription box for you. So we have, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we have 10 boxes this time around, which is a lot more than we've had recently. So we'll go through these and talk about them all a little bit and help you maybe decide which box is best for you. I've kind of put them in order from like worst to best, kinda. I wouldn't get as always, don't get too caught up in the exact location of each of these boxes. It's just kind of a general thing. I did the best that I can, but you know, a lot of it's opinion based, so don't get too caught up on it. But we'll talk about each one a little bit, and I'll show a picture. And as always, on all my videos, if you don't want to hear me talk, because I talk a lot, feel free to skip to the end where it's just pictures on any video that I have. Anyway, I feel like I have more stuff to announce, but I'm kind of doing this last minute, and I can't really think of stuff because my mind's kind of a blank. You know, the cool thing about this was, these are all the boxes of October, and for the first time, probably since I started the channel, they actually all arrived in the month of October. I don't think that's ever happened. So the one time it does happen, I had no time to record a video, so I'm like 2 weeks late on it, but it was still kind of cool, because it's very convenient when they all show up at the correct time, so I really like that. Anyway, so let's start off with number 10, and we'll go from there. So number 10, starting off the countdown, is the Sanrio Loot Small Gift Crate. Now, this one I actually did post a picture of, a little brief review of what I thought of this box and values and ratings and stuff like that. And it didn't get a very high score just because, you know, a lot of the stuff in there is, I guess I could say generic. Not generic in general, but generic for Sanrio. And what I mean by that is, like, it's just a lot of stuff in there, like keychains and coasters and stuff like that. That's all good quality stuff. but it just seems like stuff that can be found elsewhere at a much cheaper price. So that's the thing about it. This ends up being like a $40-something box, but it's definitely not giving double the value. Oh, Pup's so cranky. Oh, he's getting so mad. So we're definitely not getting double the value on this box, and it just seems like I could find Sanrio stuff that's still branded for a much cheaper price. That wouldn't be the exact stuff in here because it's exclusive, but very similar to it. And it's just not different enough to merit this whole separate box and that much money. I feel like you could just take a little bit of money and find stuff of similar quality and value at a much cheaper price. What? Are you done? You have a kiss? Give me a kiss. You missed. Give me a kiss. Thank you. So yeah, so that was essentially what it boiled down to. There's just, Sanrio is such a popular thing, you can find it anywhere. It's not like it was back in like the 90s where you had to actually go to a Sanrio store. You can find this stuff everywhere, and you shouldn't have to pay as much as it's valued in here and as much as people are wanting to charge online. So I just feel like there are a lot better options out there, and it's too much money, and it is only quarterly, so, and it just wasn't offering that much variety. You want to get down? Alright. Oh, and there goes the puppy. So that's essentially what it is on that. And I've gotten this one since the beginning, and I'm pretty sure I canceled it. I'm not 100% positive. I always lose track of stuff. But I'm pretty sure I canceled it because it just wasn't offering that much, and it was just too much money. Even though it's quarterly, it was just a shitload of money to spend on that. So honestly, even if you're a Sanrio fan, I probably still wouldn't recommend this box to you, even if you're a huge Sanrio fan, just because, like the exact things I said, you could find this stuff out there for a much cheaper price, and you wouldn't be stuck on this stuff. So I think you're better off just spending your money and picking out things you like elsewhere. So I think this is the last time we'll ever see this box. I don't think it was worth the money. I don't think it was worth anything of it, and it's just, not that it's horrible, nothing. I don't want to say anything like super negative about it. It's just, I don't think it's worth the money, and I personally wouldn't recommend it to anyone. So that's it, in a nutshell. Alright, number 9. We got the collector's case. And this box is always okay. It can be good. I had it for a while, canceled it, and then got it back because I saw they had a really cool Bombshells exclusive, which was really awesome. So that's what made me pick it up again. But it kind of seemed like that was just a fluke. Because a lot of the stuff in here is also pretty generic. So a lot of it's like games and things like that. We very often see card games, and a lot of card games actually. And that's all cool, but it's stuff that isn't special to the box, and it's fun stuff, but it's just common things. Like we've seen HeroClix in there, we've seen card games in there, and we've seen like dice games in there, and just a lot of stuff like that. And here we got like trading cards and some action figures. There was a kind of Halloween themed, kind of Walking Dead stuff, so it's all good stuff, it's nothing wrong with it, but it's all stuff you can find very commonly out there. And it didn't seem like anything's really exclusive to the box. The one thing I do like about this box is that you get the option to get autographed items. So they always have someone in there. You can order the Sure Thing crate that guarantees it, but a lot of times it's not really worth the money for who it is. But I like the chance you do have the odds to get it. And last time I checked, it was 1 out of 10. It may have changed since I checked then, but you do have pretty good odds to get it. And it was, this time around, it was one of the guys from The Walking Dead. I forget the character's name at the moment, but it's always someone like pretty well known and pretty decent. So that's always a cool thing. That's what always keeps me interested. And the rest of the stuff in there is still good, but it wasn't super special. Like the t-shirt was like a skull t-shirt, but there was nothing special about it. It just kind of was a t-shirt with a skull on it. And then we got some like little tattoos of scars for like you could use for a Halloween costume, but that's like awfully specific. And the Walking Dead figures are cool. That I like that they were by McFarlane. But it's just very common stuff, and it gets decent value, but it's never quite double the value, so it's okay. So I think I'm still going to keep it around and see where it goes, because I'm still pretty interested in it, and things are interesting, but it's just nothing super amazing. So that's what you can expect. It's all stuff you'll use and like, but nothing super overly over-the-top special. Alright, number 8. We got Marvel Collector Core. Now, I was pretty disappointed with this box for a few reasons. One, we didn't get a shirt, which normally I could give a shit less about. We get shirts in so many boxes. Like, I have just piles and piles of shirts that I never use or wear. Pup's making so much noise. Stop. So many shirts that I never use or wear that I get from these boxes that fit terribly, so I'm never disappointed when I don't get a shirt, but this is one of the rare times I was. So Funko actually does decent quality shirts. They're pretty well fitting, they're like pretty comfortable, and they have decent designs on them, which is rare for these box companies because they usually go with the shittiest quality shirts. But the reason I was bummed about it is the one thing I do like about this box is that they always promote movies, so you get them before the movies come out, then you get a shirt, and then I can wear that shirt to the premiere. And that's kind of what I was looking forward to. I do that all the time with the Marvel one, with the DC one. I like to have a shirt to wear, and, you know, I just like that. I like to go to the premiere wearing the shirt for that movie. I know it's super dorky to do, but I don't give a shit. Like, I like to do that. And I was kind of bummed we didn't get a shirt because I didn't have one to go wear to the premiere. They put a beanie in there instead, which, you know, I respect that. I respect that they're trying to mix it up. Like, I know a lot of people appreciate that they're trying to mix it up and stuff like that. And beanies are pretty generic and common that anyone can wear them, I guess. But I just was bummed I didn't get a shirt, and I really didn't want to wear like a beanie to the movie. So I think I'm just too old to wear beanies. I don't know about that. So it's not that the beanie was bad in quality. It's just that I just would have much rather had a shirt. And some of the other things in here were pretty overly generic too. Like, we got a deck of cards. And yeah, it was in theme because it had the picture on the back, but it's not like the pictures were very different, and it just seemed like too common of a thing. That seems like what old boxes used to do, where they'd give common things like a mug or a deck of cards. It just seems too common for someone like Funko and Marvel to do. It just seemed like too common stuff. We got some magnets in there too, and then we got one of those little spinners where it's like it's too common of stuff. It's too generic. We got our pop figures, which are always going to be exclusive, which is good. But again, I was disappointed because we didn't get Hulk. There was no Hulk pop in there, which I thought for sure we would get. Like, not just a Hulk pop, but hopefully, like, I was hoping an oversized, like, 6-inch one. That's totally what I was expecting, and we didn't get that. And I realized, yeah, it's a Thor movie, but, you know, Hulk was one of the main selling points of that movie. That's what made it cool, because it was a crossover. And I was just really shocked we didn't get, like, a Hulk pop, let alone maybe a Hulk and Thor pop. So this one, you can see the box is a lot smaller, and that's because it came with smaller items and less stuff. So I was kind of bummed all around on it, and the value really wasn't there, and I don't know. It again, not that it was bad. The pops that did come in here were still cool, but it was just, I had pretty, not high expectations, but decent size expectations for it, and it just definitely didn't meet that, which is pretty irregular. Like, the one thing you usually can count on with these Funko boxes, you always know what to expect. That's like their one thing that is kind of nice, because you aren't ever disappointed because you know exactly what you're going to get each month. But this one, they tried to change it up, and I don't think they made good choices. I appreciate variety. That's one of the things I base my values on and my scores on, but in this sense, they just didn't do the best job at it. So, in my opinion, I think it was kind of a fluke for this one. I think they normally do a good job, and normally they pick good characters and good themes and good designs. But this one, they just kind of made some bad choices. So I'm going to put it up to that. It was just a fluke. I'm sure the next time it comes around, it'll be just fine. So I'm not too worried about it. It's not going to make me cancel. I think it'll be great. And the next time it's on the countdown, it'll probably be a few spots up. But this one, personally, just wasn't it. But normally, it's pretty good. Mouth's getting dry already. Alright. Number, what do we want? That was 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 7 is a new box. So it's the World's Finest Collection box. And this one, I believe, is quarterly. I have to double check that. But it is because this box, specifically the Batman one, has been around for a very long time. For a few months. So that's why I assume it's quarterly. And, the cool thing about it, I guess it's a good thing about it, is that when I signed up for this box, usually you have to wait for the next one, but they just sent you this one right away, and then the next one's going to come out pretty soon, and I'll just get that one when it comes out too. So this one, I think they just had overstock of it, which could be a bad thing because they didn't sell that much. So as soon as you sign up for it, you just automatically get this one, and I think the next quarterly one might even come out next month, just by coincidence. So I guess that's kind of good because I get to review it. Also, the kind of good thing about it is that it's been out in circulation for a while, so my review is going to be a lot different from other people's, and the values are going to be more accurate. And honestly, I was pretty surprised by this box. It had a Batman theme, and a lot of things in here were actually exclusive. Possibly everything. Yeah, I actually think everything in here was exclusive. So I was pretty surprised by that. So I'm always hesitant for new boxes because they always seem good in concept, but they're always really poor at the delivery. And this one I was definitely skeptical on just because the price was really high up there and it ended up being like a $60 box. So that's a lot of money to risk. But I already knew what was in this, so I was okay with that. And I was pretty shocked by some of the detail they put into it. For example, they put an umbrella in here, which is, we've seen a lot in boxes before, but they actually did like a pretty decent quality one. The handle is like the Batarang, so it's really good in quality, and it's actually pretty responsive when you press the button, so the quality on the umbrella is actually really good. And they had an exclusive figure in there that's just like not really from anything. Usually when they have like pop figures, they just change the paint job. This is an exclusive sculpt of a figure, and things like that make me kind of hopeful because they have obviously resources at their disposal where they can make things and get things exclusive that are just made for them and not just another paint job or something. So that kind of gives me hope for things. But a lot of the stuff in here was definitely pretty generic. The shirt in there was a Wayne Industries shirt, and it was fine, but it was just a little too plain for me. And the quality was decent on it, but it just was overly plain. I wish they had a cooler design on it. And they had a little coffee mug in there that looked like a smoke grenade. And it was good quality mug, but again, it just had the bat signal on it. So they're kind of giving mixed signals here where it seems like really good quality stuff, but it doesn't seem like very creative stuff. I guess that's the best way to put it. So the things in here are common, like coffee mugs and t-shirts and umbrellas, but they seem like they did put a lot of effort into it. There just doesn't seem like a lot of creativity put into these specific items. That sounds a little confusing, I realize, but so to sum up, I'm left pretty hopeful for this company because I think I can see them heading in a good direction. I can see them trying to get some creative things in there, but as long as they have a good outlet and whatever ideas they have, they can make really well, they can put a lot of effort into it and make really high in quality, that seems okay to me. That seems very hopeful because it doesn't matter how good your ideas are, if you have really poor quality, nobody's going to want them. So that's the good thing about it. That being said, the value wasn't quite there. Definitely more than you paid for, nowhere near double the value, but that might be because this box has been out for so long. It's been out like 2, possibly 3 months, so the value is pretty low at that, and I don't think the value on these items is ever going to come back up. So that's something to note, that the value is pretty steep at this point, but that could change very easily. If this box gains some popularity and they keep showing that they're putting in good quality, that could very easily change. So I'm very interested to see where it goes. Although it is a lot of money, I'm still going to stick with it for at least one more box, if not a few more, because I think the next one's Justice League, so we could see some very interesting stuff there. So it struck my curiosity, but it hasn't quite won me over yet. So I guess that's the best way to put it. And at this point, I don't think I would recommend this box to anyone for what I just said, that I haven't quite formed an opinion on it. It seems hopeful, but I haven't quite decided if it's going to be good or bad. So that's why it's lower on the countdown. Value wasn't quite there, so I wouldn't quite recommend it yet. But stand by, and we'll see where the next one is, and we'll see where it lands in the countdown. We'll have a better idea of it at that point. And hopefully I can do more individual reviews of more of these boxes in the future. Okay, where are we at? Number 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 6, yep. And that's the BAM box. This box kind of always shows up right around the middle. And the past few months haven't been, I wouldn't say few, last month wasn't super great, and this one was just okay too. The pins in there, always great. Great pin, you can always count on them for that. We got a little patch in there, and we got a little necklace amulet thing that's kind of morphed into something else. It was a little prop replica, and that's something they do really good. They are really great at the prop replicas. So I think last month was the Goonies one. I really loved that. And this prop replica, they did a really great job. The signature was from Zach Galligan, I believe it's pronounced, and that was the kid from oh my gosh, Gremlins. So it's a lot of the signatures they get, at least it's someone recognizable. When you see the picture, you know exactly who it is, but he's not exactly famous or anything, so it's kind of a paradox there, where it's someone you recognize, but it's not someone super famous, but it's still someone cool. It's still someone I'm happy to say I have a signature for. The artwork, they had the option of getting artwork from Chris Uminga, who I'm a huge fan of. I'm a giant Chris Uminga fan, but I didn't get his artwork. I got the other one, so if anyone out there wants to trade, more than happy to do. But I'm a huge Chris Uminga fan, so his artwork's really fantastic, and I'm glad they got him in the box. So that was really cool. The last item in there was a license plate, which they've been kind of hit or miss on. When they did the Back to the Future license plate, it was perfect because it was so iconic and recognizable. It was actually part of the movie, and they showed it a lot. Now they've kind of done this. They have the option of the Evil Dead or the Halloween one, which it's just not that recognizable. They just are regular license plates. You can see there's not really anything special about it. Like the Back to the Future one, the license plate said out of time, like it has something to do with the movie. These ones, the license plate aren't really recognizable. Yeah, they were technically shown in the movie, but if I showed someone this, the average person probably wouldn't be able to tell where that license plate is from. So it seems like kind of a stretch to... I like the idea of the license plates because they do a good job, they're nice in quality, but it's a little too far of a stretch because they're just not that recognizable. And it's cool to have, but I feel like if I put it up, people are going to be like, what is that random license plate? And I'll be like, oh, it's from Halloween. And they'll be like, was it? And I'll be like, yeah, let me Google it and show you. It's just not well known enough to have it in there, which is I know they want to keep doing license plate because they look so cool and they're nice in quality, but there's just not that many recognizable license plates out there. So that's kind of an odd thing to do. So I'm not sure where they should go with that. But yeah, those plates just weren't recognizable enough. So that's where this box is right in the middle, because it's like the signature was cool. You recognize the guy, but not that famous. But the license plate are from something famous, but it's like not that recognizable, and it's like, eh. But the pins are always great. The prop replicas are always very nice in quality, though. So I appreciate that. So I've always loved this company, though. I'm happy to see where they go. Haven't checked out their horror box yet, but I've heard good things about it. So maybe I'll try that out too, because I've always liked that company a lot. Alrighty. I think we're about the halfway point. Alright, number 5. Is it number 5? Yeah. Number 5 is the A box. Now this is one I've heard about a lot. This is a brand new box, by the way, for me on the channel. And it's one a lot of people recommended to me, but I wasn't sure about it, and they only had one box out. And I was very confused on what the concept was of it. But it seems pretty good. It was a pretty pricey box, but a lot of things in here were exclusive to the box. They had an exclusive Titans figure, exclusive keychain, exclusive bag. Like, a lot of things in here were exclusive to the box, which I was very surprised by. Usually new companies have a very hard time getting exclusive items, so it was very impressive that this company could do it. Now, the items didn't really blow me away by any means, but they have decent quality on them, and they were pretty creative on a lot of the items. Like, we got a Titans figure that was the Metal Gear Solid, and Titans does a lot of exclusive stuff. They work with a lot of different companies, and that company doesn't really impress me anymore. They've kind of become pretty generic. And we got a bag that was pretty cool, nice in quality, a keychain, and we also got, it doesn't show it on the description card, we also got a watch in there, which is actually very good quality too. It was of the Death Star, and it was really nice. It came in this nice little tin that looked like the Death Star, and it had a nice little watch in there, so that was really cool too. So this one has also struck my curiosity a lot too. The fact that they're getting exclusive partnerships, and the fact that they actually, seems like they put some real creativity into this, I'm very intrigued. And the last box was, I think, Alien Covenant box, I believe, and that had some pretty interesting stuff too, which were also exclusive. So I'm kind of excited to see where they go with this. It's nice to see boxes that have exclusive items that aren't just like Funko items. So all of them have exclusive pops and stuff like that. So it's nice to see one that has some other variety and is actually trying to differentiate themselves a little bit. So again, not super impressed by it. Value was decent. Didn't quite meet double, but it was okay. And I'm very curious by it, and I'm kind of interested to see where it goes next. I believe, I can't remember if this one is quarterly or not. I think this one's monthly. I'm sorry, I should probably have looked this up before to confirm it, but, you know, we'll see if it ends up showing up pretty soon. So yeah, that's the sum of it. Again, much like the World's Finest Collection box, I don't quite have a permanent opinion about it because this is the first one I've gotten. So we'll have to wait and see when more come, and then we'll get more of an idea about it. But I'm definitely interested about it, enough to where I'm going to keep it around for at least another month or two, which I think is a good thing. So we'll see where that one ends up and where it's headed. Alright, next on the countdown we got number 4, and that is Loot Crate. One we always see pretty high in the countdown. Not because it's particularly amazing, but because it's just so damn cheap. It's so cheap, it's just really hard to go wrong with it. And it's the same thing I say every month. This one in particular was decent. We got a cool shirt in there, a Ghostbusters shirt that had kind of an 80s twist on it, which is, okay. But yeah, it was good design and good quality, so I really like the shirt. So I'll definitely check that, or I'll definitely wear that one around. Next, we got a Stranger Things, I believe, yeah, Stranger Things figure, and it was kind of a little diorama, which was cool. The quality on it wasn't super high by any means. It kind of was very simplistic in the style, but I like that it's a diorama because it has like a little scene to it. So I thought that was pretty cool. I really liked that, and yeah, it just seemed very interesting. It just definitely could have been higher in quality, but at least it was an actual scene. I always appreciate that because you get really tired of figures that are just like the one person. They just are done so many times, especially by Funko. So I like it when there's a little scene. Speaking of which, we got another figure by Fat Mojo, which is the one that gave us the Queen Takes Bishop figure, which I was a big fan of. And I said back then I was very excited to see where that company goes. And this time I was very disappointed because I saw where that company went. So the first figure with the Queen and Bishop, it was really cool because the Queen had some pretty decent detail. Bishop looked really simple, but it was a cool scene. This one, it's of Thor and Loki, and same thing, where it's like a diorama and it's like an action scene, which I like. For the same reason I just said, it's really cool to see like an entire scene versus just one figure. But the problem with it was, they kind of went in the direction of the Bishop and not in the direction of the Alien Queen, in the sense that it was just a little too overly simplistic. They didn't put a lot of detail into it, and these figures kind of look just like, I don't know, they kind of look like toys for like toddlers, where there's not any detail in there, and they're just very simple. They kind of look like someone, an amateur kind of drew it, almost like borderline stick figures, and it was just a little too simplistic. So I was very hopeful for it at first, but now I'm kind of not, because the way they're designing the people and the figures they put in there just doesn't seem that great. And the Alien Queen looked cool, but it's kind of hard to oversimplify the Alien Queen, so maybe that's why that one looked cooler, and this one just didn't look that great. I didn't like the overall design and feel of it. It felt too cheap, and there was really no paint job on it. It was all just the colored plastic, which I don't really like either because it's just a lack of detail, so I was pretty disappointed in this specific figure, and it just, I don't know, it just looked too stiff. They just didn't do a good job on it. So now I'm not so excited for this Fat Mojo company. Was for that first one. You never know, they may pick it up in their next one, but the design they have on this one I was just very disappointed in, and I don't think they did a good job at all, so quite the bummer. Then we got a little bookmark after that, and then we got a pin that always comes with our DLC stuff, and that was it. So I love the shirt, and then the Stranger Things one was good, could have used more detail. The other figure not so hot. So not the best box, not the best choices by Loot Crate, and not the best partnerships. But again, it was only 20 bucks, so it's hard to be too disappointed in it. So overall, still pretty decent. Alrighty, number 3. So, number 3, we got Lootaku. Always a great box. I'm never really disappointed in it. And the good thing about this one, you want to come up here? You want to come up? Do you want to come up here? Do you want to come up? Get up here. Stop. It's being weird. Okay, so this one is good. So this one, just like last month, we got all big stuff. So we got 3 large statues, then we got a sword replica, which is good. I couldn't agree more with that choice. I think that's what Lootaku needs to do, and I think that's a really good call, to stick with what they're known for and stick with what they're best at, which is giving high quality, like bigger items, bigger statues, stuff that's not found in America, like anime, like Asian culture stuff, and yeah, I think that's the best thing they can do. I think they should stay away from like the pop figures and things like that, because it's all stuff that's too generic and too common unless they can get exclusive ones. So I like that they stuck with the statues here. I think that's a very good call, a very good choice, and I think that's their best market. That's what they're going to do to set themselves aside from these other boxes, and that's going to be the best business choice for them. The only downside, this is just for me, I didn't know these animes very well. So they did One Piece, which is pretty common, Sword Art Online, and Gintama. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So I know of them, but I didn't know a lot about them. So I'm afraid, me personally, I couldn't appreciate it. But even though I didn't know these characters specifically, just based on the quality of the statues, very high in quality, very nicely done. So even though I didn't know the characters and I'm not like super familiar with the anime, I was still very impressed by the quality, which is awesome. And the same with the sword replica in there. Even though I don't recognize that specific sword, I'm still going to put it on display because it's so nice. Like, it's actually a metal sword, and it looks so cool to have it on display, and it's like a decent size, so it's really cool. So even though I didn't appreciate the anime as much as I should have, I still really like this box. It's just based on quality. And the great thing about it is, even if you like this one, if I don't recognize the anime or don't like a character, you'd have no problem flipping it around. Selling it on eBay, giving it to a friend. They're so high in quality, they're easily sold, they're like a great gift for someone else. So that's the good news about it. You don't have to worry about risking a lot of money because the quality is going to be there, and it's almost like you can just get it back if you need to sell it or something like that. So you don't have to worry about giving them their money. So I've never really been disappointed in this company. I'm always excited to see what they do. I wish I knew more about certain anime so I could appreciate it more, but that's my only complaint, and that's kind of specific to me, so that's not really anything. But yeah, if you're an anime fan, if you're like an avid collector, if you like statues and sculptures, bigger items, any of those, then you'd definitely be happy about this box and really never disappointed. So I hope they do, hopefully they do more franchises that I recognize. That's my only hope. But other than that, they've been doing great. They've brought the price down since they first started, and they're pretty good about getting the box to you on time that month. So overall, great company, overall great experience. The only reason it gets a little lower on the countdown is this month specifically, it was a little lower on the value. So it was right around a $60 box, and we got a little less than 100. So that's pretty low on the value. We always hope to get like double your value, and it's pretty far off from double. So that's the only reason they got lower. But it was still great in quality, still worth your money, still definitely got more than you paid for. It just wasn't quite there this month. Had they gotten closer to double, it probably would have been in the #1 spot. So, but you know, they can't hit it every month, and it's so much money gets lost in like shipping and import fees. So that it's totally understandable why it didn't get that close. But that's why I got a little bit lower on the countdown, and really nothing more to it than that. So there we go. Lootaku, honestly one of my favorite boxes. Always happy to see it. Next. #2, also a new box. This one is quarterly. I do remember that for a fact. And it's the Nick box. One I was actually very hesitant for, because I've seen so many theme boxes. This has been recommended to me so many times. I've seen so many theme boxes, and they always end up terrible. I'm always so hesitant to it, because it's like TMNT box when I got that. It sounds like a great idea. I love Turtles, but all that company really did was buy Ninja Turtles stuff that was already out there, and then just kind of resell it to you. And it's like, that's usually what they end up being, and I wasn't a fan of that. But this one is actually licensed stuff from Nickelodeon, and it is actually exclusive stuff. So it is backed by them. I'm not sure if it's completely by Nickelodeon or at least sponsored by them, something like that, but you're actually getting quality stuff. So it's not just someone that wanted to make this box and is picking Nickelodeon stuff and giving it to you, which is what I thought it was going to be. I thought for sure that was it. They were just going to find stuff from the 90s and give it back to you. Like there is actually a 90s nostalgia box out there, which that's what they do. That's what I thought it was going to be, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. They started off kind of a little weird with some of their stuff, but they're definitely picking up momentum, and they're definitely getting more money, and that shows. If I'm not mistaken, everything in here was 100% exclusive, and it was very nice in quality, and it was cool stuff, too. So we actually got a vinyl figure, which was of Cat Dog, and we got a candy dish of Crumb from Real Monsters, and it's actually, like, a nice dish. It's not... Usually we get these cheap plastic ones, but this one's actually ceramic. So it's not just a nice dish, it actually looks nice to put on display too, which I was very surprised about. And the t-shirt was actually really great in quality too. And they didn't do some goofy design. It was from the Midnight Society of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And a lot of the times they try to do these nostalgia stuff and they put this really stupid design, but they kept it simple. They put a real simple emblem on there where it's like if you remember the show, you'd recognize it, but it wasn't over the top. Like, I really liked the concept and design of it. They really did a good job and they put a lot of thought into it. And we also got a plate set in here. The plate set, unfortunately, is only plastic, so the quality isn't super high. But it was really cool because each one was from a different show, and it showed different stuff in there. You stop? Hey, stop it. Sorry. So each plate had like a different scene on there, so it was a really good variety. And then we got a little clock guy from Rocko's Modern Life, and that was cool too. Like, everything in here was very good in quality and had some really decent variety. It wasn't generic at all, and it's really cool stuff from the 90s from Nickelodeon, so I was pleasantly surprised about it. You know, the value isn't completely there. It's not quite double the value, and it's kind of a niche market, but you know, it's still definitely cool. There's a lot of people that like this stuff that grew up in the same era like me that would love it, and they really did some great variety and value here. The only thing, mine didn't come with the air freshener. I'm not sure why, but not a big deal, just something worth noting. But yeah, everything in here was done very well, and I was really surprised about it. This is their third box, I believe, so I'm pretty excited to see what the next one's going to be. I kind of wish it was more than quarterly. They did a really good job, and I was completely surprised by everything in there. This is one of the few boxes I can say that when I get it... Sorry, Pup's making a bunch of noise. You gotta stop. Sorry, one of the few boxes I can say that when I got it and opened it, I was legit, like, surprised by things in there. Like, it wasn't things that I expected. So many of these boxes are just overly generic, stuff full of, like, Funko stuff and t-shirts and mugs and things like that. This one, I would have not been able to have guessed a single item in there, and I don't think I could guess a single item that's going to be in the next box. They actually really did put some thought and effort into it. So I actually would recommend this box to anyone that's a Nickelodeon fan. It is still pretty expensive. I think it ends up being around that $60 range for this box, which is a lot of money, but if it's quarterly, it's not that bad. But yeah, if you're a fan of it, I think people would be pretty happy with this. And from what I've seen, they've been selling out of each box, which is a good thing, which just shows that they're putting in good quality. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised on it, and I'm definitely keeping it around. So I'm not sure how long it's going to be till we see the next one. Might be another 3 months, but I'll be happy when I get it. Alright, taking the #1 spot. That's going to be our Disney Treasures box. Very fitting for me, because I'm actually going to Disneyland tomorrow. It's going to be dope. So yeah, this one, you know, this one is pretty common of what you can expect. You usually get a pop figure, patch pin, a mystery mini, and then one variable. This time it was Adorbs. And it's nothing's bad about it. It's always good stuff. And they do go out of their way to do, like, exclusive sculpts of figures and not just variant paint jobs. So it's cool they put in the effort. And I always love that they always give these little secrets about the park here and there. So that's always fun stuff, and I like that. But it is kind of geared towards the parks a lot, which is unfortunate for a lot of people that haven't been to a Disneyland park. The one thing about this box that really pushed it over the top was the Maleficent pop figure. It was a 6-inch pop figure, and it wasn't just a variant paint job. There wasn't one done before it, and Maleficent is a cool character in that dragon form, and it was the oversized 6-inch pop figure, which was really cool. And I'm not even that big of a fan of Maleficent, but I was excited when I heard this pop that was announced, and it turned out really well. And the fact that the original one exists in this box made it very collectible. So a lot of people sought this out, and it goes for an extremely high price online. And I thought I could go back in and buy another of this box. It sold out extremely quick when word got out about it. So that pop figure is going to be worth a ton of money. The fact that it's the original, it's not the alternate paint job, that's the original paint job. I'm sure there are other ones out there that have alternate paint jobs that exist, and they'll probably re-release the same figure with different paint jobs, but the original is only in this box, and it's sold out, so the only way you can get it is by aftermarket on eBay, and it was going for, last time I checked, like upwards of $60 and higher than that. So an extremely collectible thing, which is rare to see in these Funko boxes, because they usually make way more than they can sell. They usually have so much overstock. Like all these other Funko boxes, you can go back to even their first box and still buy a duplicate one because they have so much overstock. But this one sold out almost immediately, and that made that figure very collectible. So that specifically made it really cool. And the cool thing about that is, what I was saying is their pop figures are usually obviously exclusive, but exclusive in all ways. Like a lot of times it's characters they've never done before, and it's sculpts that are completely exclusive to this box, which is very rare to see. Usually when you see boxes, they get exclusive figures, but it's just an alternate paint job. It's very rarely an exclusive sculpt. So the Disney one seems like the one they're putting the most effort into. Funko does DC, Star Wars, Marvel, but this is the only one where, well, I wouldn't say the only, but one where it seems like they're putting the most effort, where everything is just really special that you can really only find there. So it's not always like this. It's usually the figures they pick are a little more obscure and not worth as much. It's still always good, but it's not usually as good as this one. So this one specifically really stood out. Other than that, in any other given month, it'd still be worth it. You still usually get double your value, and it's still always cool stuff. But this one specifically really stood out, and that's why I took the #1 spot. So yeah, that's it. That's our 10 boxes. So those are the new ones. So hopefully I can get more into the social media thing, and fingers crossed that I have time to make more videos. But who knows these days? It seems like every week that goes by, I'm picking up more jobs and doing more things, so I can't make any guarantees. So if you are interested, please come find me on social media. Follow the links in on my homepage so you can stay up to date. That's just going to be the best way to do it for now. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this helped you in some way. I hope you like seeing the new boxes. I hope to talk more about them. And next month in our monthly review is going to be completely different, because we're going to see a whole different boxes from these bi-monthly and quarterly boxes. We're going to see a whole different mess of them. Excuse me. So as always, let me know what you think. Let me know your guys' opinions in the boxes. Let me know if there's anything you want to see. If there's any boxes you want to recommend to me. If there's anything you want to see a review on. And again, come find me on social media and we'll talk more there. In the meantime, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for supporting. Oh, also on a side note, I'm like 1,000 views away from hitting 1 million views. So I don't know if I'll do like a special giveaway or something like that. I totally forgot about my giveaway. The winner of the giveaway is in the description at the bottom. That's what I forgot to mention at the beginning. The winner of the description is at the bottom of my description. Winner of the giveaways at the bottom of the description in the video. If you want to be interested in any of my giveaways, just post a link of this video or my channel anywhere on social media. Send me the link. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. No one's watching at the end of the video for this stuff, but please do that and enter the giveaway. Hardly anyone does it, so you have a good chance of winning, and I'll try to send out the box sometime in the next million years. Anyway, thank you all for watching and supporting. Love you all so much. Peace.